with it. Our next guest, Steve Berman, who was the Bay Area sports guy, following him on Twitter for a long, long time. And he has made quite the name and career for himself. He is of the Athletic, much like Sam Amick, who will join us once again in about a half an hour. And Steve joins us right now. Good morning, Steve. It's Dave. It's Jason. How are you?
Hey, Dave. Hey, Jason. Doing well. How are you guys?
We're doing better than, I'm a Giants fan. He's a Yankees fan, but we are both doing our best
This stinks.
It sucks. And Steve is a Giants fan. I said this yesterday. I'm not feeling I've kind of adopted the Rays for a while. They're my alternate team because I'm not feeling too good about being a Giants fan right now.
Well, it's been pretty rough these last few days, I think, for everybody, right? To watch this, except for Rob Manfred, apparently, who I'm actually joking about this. He's obviously pretty upset. And I think the A's are pretty upset, too, because you're looking at what they've done, the A's. They haven't mentioned Oakland or Bay Area fans at all in either of their public statements after they got votes in the legislature and the approval from the governor in Nevada. And then you have Manfred making those comments that you just played. You could tell that, yes, and I tweeted this out last night with, the reverse boycott. Obviously, it's not going to keep the A's in Oakland, but you definitely upset some people with the A's and Manfred himself, who was all snarky going, oh, well, I guess it's good that they had an almost average attendance. It's like, all right, for one thing, I'm not really sure if I really trust that attendance number.
Right.
And then another, I was in that stadium, and it was the loudest stadium I've been in quite a while.
Yeah, amongst the many things, Steve, you brought up some that Rob said. The one that kind of caught my ear amongst many, though, was when he kind of his pushback was, well, look, there was no Oakland offer. And, to just dismiss it as, look, was it finalized? Was it crystallized? Was it all, buttoned up? Maybe not. But to say no Oakland offer, what did you make of those comments from Rob Manfred?
That meant there was no offer that gave us the amount of public subsidies and the lack of hurdles that we wanted. And Vegas bent over and did whatever we wanted, and that's exactly what MLB wants. I mean, he gave away the game already when he said that when he was asked about the fact, well, why would you guys waive the relocation fee and why would the owners want to do so? And he said, we want to keep teams where they are, which is a lie, obviously, because that's not happening right now. And it makes sense. It doesn't make sense to charge a relocation fee when the team is moving and putting up their own money for a stadium and getting public subsidies. And the thing was, the A's were actually, they'd already gotten a bunch of public subsidies from Oakland promised in terms of grants and other things. It just wasn't enough for John Fisher, who had embarked on a project at Howard Terminal that was way, way more expensive. And I'm not really sure he was going to be able to cover the costs, especially in a world post-inflation and post-Gap stock price not really looking too good these days either.
Steve Berman of The Athletic joins us. What I'm trying to find out, and this is just maybe me putting my tinfoil hat on being conspiratorial, this really is like a bad Bond movie when you have, for example, the Giants being saved by the Haas family in part and then turning their back on the A's when they needed it the most, and John Fisher is the big baddie. I'm trying to figure out, Steve, maybe you can help me. Why is it that other major league owners are so okay with this team being an embarrassment on the field, okay enough to award the entire Northern California market to the Giants, but most importantly, giving up a little over $30 million per team because they're waiving a $1 billion relocation fee and going to a smaller market while doing it with an owner that does nothing but revenue share. Please help me. I mean, I'm being serious. Like, is there something I'm missing? What would possibly motivate other owners to be okay with this?
Well, I think that not all of the owners are okay with it. I don't think that NL West owners especially are super happy about it. Look at the Dodgers and the Padres in particular are going, wait, we pretty much share Southern California, and the Dodgers also have the Angels in town, and they're going to get all of Northern California all the way up to Seattle for themselves. Obviously, we're talking about two other states, too, in that process. I think also Hal Steinbrenner recently said that he thinks that the fact that the A's have such a low payroll is not great for the game. But I think Manfred has pushed this through because, and owners are going to be okay with it because every owner wants the ability to, if things go poorly, to be able to pretty much keep a region hostage and move if need be and get as much public subsidies for a stadium as they can. And, that's why it's very, very rare that owners actually try to kick out other owners for incompetence. It's only if the PR is so bad, like in a Dan Snyder case or Donald Sterling. Otherwise, all the owners are like, well, I don't want to get kicked out if I decide that I don't want to do something that is great for the fans in my region. And then the other one I would think of too is the Manfred has talked about for a while. They can't do expansion until they get the A's and Rays situations figured out. And expansion fees are more than relocation fees. So once the A's and Rays are figured out with their stadiums, then you get expansion fees, which would be about $2 billion per team last time I saw.
Steve, on the back to the Fisher and the A's part, so they get the public subsidies from Vegas, but not all that they need. It's not all given to them. There's still a significant separation from what the stadium costs will be to the whatever 300 plus million that's been pledged there by Vegas. Can Fisher fill that void, or is he going to have to sell portions of the team? This thing, while it seems complete, there's still some holes here. How do you see that part being filled?
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Fisher had to start selling chunks of the team. Last I saw reported, he owns 80% of it, which is pretty high for a principal owner. And I wouldn't be surprised there. And yeah, that's a big question is how much liquidity does he have? The fact that, they kept banning about this number of, we spent $100 million to, do all these things in Oakland and research and this and that. They probably did have to spend a decent amount of money in legal fees when they had the legal challenges presented to them. But, we don't actually know that they spent $100 million. We just have to take their word for it. And why would we take their word for it really on anything at this point, since they were supposedly rooted in Oakland just a couple of years ago, and it was Howard Terminal or bust and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what kind of partners they get. Are they going to partner with Bally? Bally is already sort of underwriting a lot of this project at the Tropicana on the south end of the Strip, and they're going to be putting up hotels and casinos around a new supposedly retractable roof ballpark. That's another one too. If you look at this ballpark, it looks like it was generated by an AI request of build an Oakland Athletics ballpark on the Strip with a retractable roof. The foul territory alone, it looks like the Coliseum. And then the retractable roof part, that's not going to be cheap. And also, when is it going to be open? I guess maybe in April, maybe at the very end of September. You're talking about average temperatures over 100 degrees throughout the entire summer in Las Vegas. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they just scrap the retractable roof and that silly arch thing that they're going to build over it and just have a regular, as cheap as they possibly can do, dome stadium over 9 acres. Because also, the smallest retractable roof stadium is over an 11-acre area, and this one in Vegas is supposed to be only 9 acres.
Last thing for you, because we are out of time, Steve. Can the A's play in Oakland? I know they can. The A's going to play in Oakland next year? Your guess?
No, I wouldn't think so. Anything is possible. Their lease, as you know, runs through the 2024 season. But I think it's going to get pretty brutal over the next few months here, the rest of the season. The reverse boycott, now that this is actually going through, it looks like, the A's fans are not going to come at all. And the ones that are probably going to try to be disruptive, I would imagine. I'm not trying to influence that and say that they should or do anything that's unsafe, but I don't think it's going to be pretty there. So, I think that what's going to happen is they're probably going to look at both Reno and Las Vegas as potential sites. I don't know if they would maybe split and play some games in Reno, some games in Las Vegas. And then the only other option I could see is in your neck of the woods. I've heard of Sacramento is maybe a possibility, but all of those are minor league stadiums. So the players union would have to agree. So there could be some interesting stuff going on there, but it seems like Manfred is so hell-bent on getting this done in Las Vegas that he's going to be able to have the wherewithal to push anything through if they decide they want to play their games in Las Vegas at an outdoor stadium in the summer that seats 10,000 next season, then that's what they'll do.
That's Steve Berman. You can read him in The Athletic. Go to theathletic.com or download the app. Bargain at twice the price. You get coverage like you do with Steve, and then, you get Sam, I guess, as a throw-in, who will join us at 9 a.m. Steve, appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
Take care. That's Steve Berman of The Athletic. We'll take a break. Don't forget, Casey Pratt will join us at 9:13 to give